What's up, Gear Mortals? Trey Xavier here, and on today's edition of Gear Gods Quality Control, we're going to be taking a look at the Revv Generator 740. The 740 is a two-channel amp. There's the clean and crunch channel and the lead channel. Now, you might think that having only two channels is limiting, but because of the way that the Revv is set up, you actually don't really need more than those, because the foot switch that it comes with and the way that the switching is set up inside the amp, you actually have all the options that you need right there, and having a third or fourth channel would actually be kind of redundant. Here's why. The foot switch can actually store presets. All the switching in the amp is digital, even though the signal path is completely analog, tube, everything. The way that the channel switching and switching of different options that you can change on the face of the amp, you can program each preset into the foot switch, and then all of those things will change. So there's something called an aggression switch, and the aggression switch has a couple different levels of aggression. So you can set your rhythm tone to like the first or second aggression level, and then your lead tone to all the way up on the third aggression level, and then set one patch to the rhythm tone and one to the lead tone. It's still the same channel, but it's just more distortion, basically. So you still have a gain knob, and that sets sort of the bass level, and then you can hit the aggression switch, and that'll give you more gain and more. So it's pretty smart the way that they set it up, so you don't actually need more than two channels. You can still get all the sounds that you need. And on each of those patches, you can also set stuff like the bright switch, the contour switch, and on the clean / crunch channel, of course, you can set whether it's clean or crunch. So pretty damn well thought out, if you ask me. The design of the amp makes it probably the most practical thing possible for gigging, because normally you'd have to bring a much larger amp with you to get the amount of sounds that you can get just with this one small two-channel amp. And of course the foot switch has 4 buttons on it, but they're sort of multi-use buttons, and it's got a couple different modes. For instance, you can set it up so that it's just 2 channels, one back and forth, and just what you've got set on the front panel is what you get. Or you can use it, like I said, with presets mode, where you have 4 presets and the buttons don't correspond to channels, but just to the presets that you set in it. It's extraordinarily easy to use. It's very intuitive how you set the patches and save them. All you do is go to the channel, you set the different switches and everything the way that you want it, and then you just step on the channel and hold it, and it saves it. Revv has created maybe the most beautiful clean channel I've ever heard on a high gain amp. It's beautifully clear from the bottom to the top. There's a huge amount of headroom. It never distorts or clips at all. and you can keep it super clean at extraordinarily high volumes. So that's really important in my book. It might seem like it's not that important on a high gain amp, but like I said in past reviews of amps, if you're going to have a clean channel on a high gain amp, it's got to be good. Otherwise, you might as well not even have a clean channel at all, to be honest. So this one is definitely worth it. Another super cool feature of the Revvs is that they have a light in the cab that matches the light in the head. So when you switch the channel from one to another, it switches the color of the light on the cab to the same thing. So depending on what channel you're on, it'll either be blue or red or green. It's genius. Another cool aesthetic thing of Revv amps is that you can personalize the faceplate. They'll laser etch your name and your band logo or whatever you want it to say right onto the faceplate. So it's yours forever. All right, now I'm going to show you a couple different sounds that you can get out of this amp with a couple different sound examples. The high gain channel on the Revv is pretty different from just about any high gain amp I've tried before. It's got some similarities, but it's almost like they really took the time to cut out all the fat. They trimmed the frequencies that are annoying and that you would usually EQ out in a mix. So it's kind of like mixing on easy mode. It doesn't have a lot of the low-end flub that you get in a typical amp. It's still got plenty of low end. That's not the problem. It's got the right low end. It's got low end in all the right places. So overall, the 740 is a pretty small and simple amp, but it's sophisticated enough to instantly recall any of a number of sounds that you could use on a gig. For more information on the Revv Generator 740 and the other generator models, be sure to check out revamplification.com. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more gear reviews and original content.